Hey, a very good evening. So in this particular video, I am going to talk about the statement of purpose, the motivation letter, also sometimes referred to as the cover letter. Now, what exactly is the statement of purpose? It's basically a personal statement that you write in order to get admission into various courses. In this video, I'm going to talk about the graduate programs, that is the master's and PhD level programs. How do you write a statement of purpose or a cover letter or a motivation letter for these particular programs? Now, some Indian programs also require this, like for example Indian PhD programs also require a statement of purpose or a motivation letter, or sometimes when you are applying abroad, or in fact most of the times when you are applying abroad, you have to write a statement of purpose, be it to European countries or be it to America or Canada whatsoever. Now of course I also have certain samples for you wherein a lot of my juniors, seniors or colleagues or friends who have successfully made it to the PhD programs abroad have written these statement of purpose, but I'm not going to spoon feed you. I'm not going to give you a complete sample from wherein you can blindly copy and make a statement of purpose. So that is not what you're going to get from this video. And the sections that I am going to discuss, which have been written by my acquaintances, those particular sections I would be demonstrating at the end of the video. So let's first have a look as to what exactly do you have to write and what are the points that you need to keep in mind when you are writing this statement of purpose, or sometimes also referred to as or commonly referred to as the SOP. So the first point that you need to remember is that the SOP is a personal statement. So the thing that you need to keep in mind is it has to be unique, because it's a personal statement. You are demonstrating, or you are just putting up your career in front of the admission committees. So first of all, it has to be unique and it has to be written by you. Okay, it does not have to be copied from anyone else. That is very, very important. Now, when you talk about the personal statement, what all things do you need to write over here in that personal statement? So basically you can divide it into three sections. The first section is the introduction, wherein let's say you are applying to a PhD program in chemistry. So you have to mention that why you got interested in chemistry and a little bit of introduction about yourself. Again, these things we'll see in the second half of the video wherein I describe with the help of these samples, right? So first, in the introduction, you write about what got you interested in a particular subject. Let's say over here we are talking about chemistry, and a brief background about yourself, right? So then we have the middle section, or sometimes referred to as the body, wherein you talk about how basically your career, that means whatever courses you have done or whatever project work you have done, internships have you done, how they have basically helped you enhance your chemistry, okay, or how you improved your chemistry by doing those courses. And in doing those courses, what particular sections, what particular specialization in chemistry were you more interested in? Of course, you cannot write it in a broad domain that you're interested in chemistry. That's not how you write a statement of purpose. You have to be specific. Within chemistry also, what kind of a field attracted you, okay, or what field got you more interested than the other fields, and then you have to write also that why that happened, right? And then the conclusion section is there, wherein you write about why that particular institute, or why this particular PhD is going to help you in your career, okay, or how it is going to help you in your career, and how you as a candidate are going to contribute to that particular institute, right? So this is the three sections of any statement of purpose or a motivation letter, right? Before I talk about what you have to write, let me just tell you what you absolutely don't have to do. First thing is, you don't have to be boastful. Second is, you don't have to plagiarize. That means you don't have to blindly copy from someone else. And thirdly, don't start with cliche statements like ever since I was a child, I was interested in science, or I love science. If you're applying for a PhD program in the field of sciences, be it chemistry, physics, biology, or mathematics, of course you're interested in science. That's why you're applying for a PhD program, right? Start with a more catchy introduction, okay? Don't go for the cliche introductions that you see in every particular sample that you go through on the internet, right? So try to come up with something original. That is very important, because like I said, the statement of purpose is something that makes you you. Okay, that's what a statement of purpose is, right? So you have to be very, very, the way you have to write, it has to be unique to you. Now, something that most candidates do is they try to hide their weaknesses in the statement of purpose. Now the weakness is pretty much out there, because let's say if your grades are not good in masters, or your grades are not good in a bachelor's, or in a particular semester your grades have not been that great, or you have not done some project work or research work. So these are some weaknesses that you already know of. And of course, when you're applying for a PhD program, you would be sending your resume or your CV, or you might be sending your mark statement. So the admission committee will know about these particular weaknesses, right? So it is always better to address these weaknesses in the statement of purpose. And you could always write it in a positive way, that you faced or you had, like, you could not get good grades. Of course, if there is a reason, if there is a genuine reason behind that, let's say you had some financial troubles or you had some health issues, so you can always mention that in your masters you could not do well because you had some health issues or you had some financial problems, or you could not do a project work because you had financial problems at home. So during your summer internships, during your summer vacations, instead of doing a project work, you had to work in order to help out your family. So you could mention these reasons. This will actually be a positive thing, because it will help the admission committee know that yes, you had faced certain obstacles, but you overcame it successfully, right? So you can always mention your weaknesses, of course, if you have a genuine reason as to why you could not do well in a particular section of the resume. You also have to talk about the volunteer experience that you have done. Like, for example, you volunteered for any particular organization wherein you helped some students, whether you were involved in some extracurricular activities during your courses. Like, for example, you were teaching, basically something that will help you in the field of teaching and research, because when you apply for a PhD, you do teaching assistantship wherein you teach masters and undergrad students. Then you also end up doing research. So anything that you believe would basically improve your chances, or basically show the admission committee that these particular skills that you have gained in your undergraduate or graduate, which will help you in in your PhD program, that's what you have to demonstrate, right? So for example, if you are into sports, you let's say you played cricket or football, so that shows that you are a team player. So you can of course mention it in the statement of purpose that you have also been a football player or a cricketer or something of that sort. So anything like these are some of the examples that I'm giving you, but anything that you feel would help you enhance your chances of admission, those things you need to mention. Also, one last point that is very, very important is to demonstrate by example. What I mean by that is, instead of saying that you are persistent, you have a lot of patience, you're persistent, you're highly motivated, rather than just saying these words, because it comes out as empty words. So rather than just saying them as it is, try to give an example wherein you showed perseverance, or try to show an example where you showed a lot of patience or a lot of motivation, right? So always, whatever words you're using, that you are motivated or you are patient or you are you have a lot of perseverance, you need to mention, you have to back it first with a statement, or you have to back it first with a particular story or a particular incident where you showed perseverance, and then you can mention that this kind of like displays the perseverance. Or in the end, in the conclusion section, you can mention that you are a candidate who has a lot of patience and motivation, that is why you are fit for this particular program. But before that, before you mention these words, in the body or in the middle section of the statement of purpose, you have to demonstrate that a particular incident or a particular story wherein you showed these kinds of attributes. That is also something that you have to keep in mind, right? So now let me just show you certain samples so that you get a better understanding of how you have to write the introduction, how do you have to frame the body, and then how you have to conclude. Because in the end, in the conclusion, it's very important for you to demonstrate that why. See, you have talked about the introduction wherein you got interested in chemistry, or talked about how the different courses that you have done made you more suitable for this particular position, or basically helped you gain knowledge in that particular domain. And then in the conclusion, you have to mention that how, first of all, whatever your professional goals are, how this particular program is going to help you in the professional goals, what kind of unique skills are you bringing into the program that will help you that will help you do well in the program, and at the same time also benefit the institute as well. And why are you choosing a PhD program or a master's program in that particular institute? See, there are thousands of institutes, then why have you chosen to apply that to that particular institute? Now, the reasons that you could mention is either, like for example, again, you will see in the second half of the video, but some of the reasons that you could mention is like for example, that you are interested in a particular you're interested in a particular domain of chemistry wherein this institute is very good at, okay, or the professors that are working in that institute or the researchers that are doing research in that particular institute is really awesome. So that is something that you could mention. The second is, if for example you are someone who likes interdisciplinary research, like you want to work on the interface of biology, chemistry and physics, or biology, computational and chemistry. So if you want to work on interface of all these domains, and you know that this particular research institute or or this particular PhD program will help you benefit because it basically works on the interface of all these sections, then you could also mention that this is one institute which kind of like deals on the interface of these sections. So that is something again that you could mention.
Now, before going to the samples, there are a couple of points that I wanted to address. The first is the motivation letter or the statement of purpose should not exceed 2 pages. Okay, it should be between 1 to 2 pages. That is the general norm that is seen. The second is that there are 2 ways by which you can apply. Okay, so generally when you're applying to Western countries, like for example Canada or America, there you are generally applying to the university. And even in Europe, there are a lot of programs where you apply to the institute or the university, right? But in Europe, there are also certain programs where you need to directly approach the professor. Okay, so the professor advertises a position and you have to write a cover letter or the motivation directly to the professor. So in that case, the whole statement of purpose or the motivation letter remains the same, only the conclusion section changes. Okay, so I'll tell you how you have to write the conclusion section when you are addressing a particular professor, and how you need to write the conclusion section when you are applying to a university or institute. Okay, you are generally applying to their doctoral programs where your supervisor is not assigned, right? And then what you learned, don't blindly state your CV. Okay, so what I mean by that is, for example, when you're sending your resume or you're sending your CV, don't just write exactly what is written in your resume, that you did your bachelor's from here, master's from here, and then you worked on this particular project. You have to emphasize on the learnings, that what you learned from the project. Okay, that is very important. So just don't blindly state whatever is written in your CV. I mean, of course you have to state it, but you have to make them understand that what you actually learned out of it. Okay, because their CV is available, so they know you have done a project, or they know what from where you have done your bachelor or from where you have done your masters. But you need to emphasize on what subjects you learned, what and in the project what kind of problems you encountered and how you tackled them. So try to be a bit more elaborate when you are writing the statement of purpose, right? So now coming to the sections, let's see a few sections or a few samples of the introduction. Now, none of these statement of purposes are interlinked. Okay, I have taken abstracts from different statement of purpose just to give you a vivid idea as to how you have to write it. So this is the first abstract. As you can see, one of my colleagues has written, over centuries, diseases and disorders have plagued humankind, leaving a profound impact on our way of life and challenging our understanding of human health. They have been tackled by the right combination of science, technology, and innovation by researchers. I believe my contribution can be more significant as I polish my skills and gain experience as a researcher. This has strengthened my conviction to pursue doctoral studies. A doctorate from the Department of X present in Y University will be instrumental in paving a path for me to meaningfully contribute and provide creative solutions to shield humanity from grave health conditions. So basically, he is applying for the post of medicinal chemistry or pharmaceutical chemistry. So this is the starting or the introduction section where he basically has highlighted that what are the problems and how the doctoral study will help in catering to these problems. Okay, finding myself at a crossroad career wise after high school, I realized that making a tangible contribution in pharmacy, a synergy of chemistry and biology, is what I am passionate about. I looked at my professors who were researchers with zeal and talent for nurturing budding pharmaceutical scientists and pharmacists, and envisioned myself wanting to do the same in the future. So basically he's talking about how he got interested and why he wants to do doctoral studies. You can read it, you can take a screenshot and just have a look. So this is a very well formulated introduction wherein he describes why he's interested in doing the doctoral program, right? Let's look at a couple of other examples. These are short and crisp examples. For example, this is a little bit cliche example, but still it makes sense. Science has always fascinated me because its logical conclusions always fulfilled my desire to understand nature. I undertook chemistry as a major in undergraduate and graduate level because I find chemistry as a central and flourishing science. that ventures into the territories of other sciences. The liveliness of chemical science lies in its logical interpretation of microscopic events, and this feature has always attracted me. I believe that doctoral study is a very important milestone involved in the journey towards education. All right. Then another abstract is addressing some of the most fundamental questions about nature has always been my passion, and this is precisely what drew my interest towards sciences. I've always been interested in chemistry since the time I was at school. My schooling provided me with the much needed motivation for a scientific approach in life. I learned that just having interest is not sufficient and that it needs to be supplemented with hard work and determination. Right? So these are some of the introductions. There is one more. You can also start with a quote also. Like in this particular case, my friend has started with a quote. Dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep. As a scientist, these words of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam have always resonated within me, inspiring me to strive towards the very realization of my dreams. The world has been plagued with the COVID-19 pandemic, which has a profound impact than any other health related condition before. Tackling such a problem requires integrated knowledge from multiple functional areas and disciplines of drug discovery and development. I believe my contribution has been restricted by the skills and experience in research I possess. Therefore, I am keen on pursuing a PhD degree to equip myself to deal with such problems and meaningfully contribute to shielding humanity from deleterious health conditions. Okay, so basically, he has utilized, a very recent example wherein he's, first of all, this is different that he started off with a quote and then he basically mentioned that he has gaps in knowledge which could be fulfilled by doing a PhD degree. So this is also a very a unique way to start off with an introduction. So I hope by these examples you have got an idea on different approaches that you can utilize to start off with the introduction section, right? So once the introduction section is complete, let's go to the second section, that is the middle section or the body, wherein you describe what all experience you have had in that particular field for which you are applying. Okay, so most of my colleagues are from chemistry, so you will see that most of them have written about chemistry itself. So this is the first thing. Okay, like I said, all of these are abstracts. They are not from the same statement of purpose, because I told you I don't want to spoon feed you, nor do I want you to copy paste it. So I have taken abstracts from different statement of purpose and motivation letters, and I'm presenting you over here just to give you a general idea. Now you can start off after the introduction section. You can start off with, in my high school I scored a CGPA of X, which paved the way to choose non-medical as the starting goal of my career. Then you can talk about you got so and so marks, and you can talk about your performance. The result filled me with more confidence. My desire to do something outstanding in the field of research urged me to choose chemistry at the undergraduate level, and by the grace of God I was admitted to, if your college is ranked very highly in the NIRF rankings, you can mention that as well. And then you can talk about what all you studied in your undergraduate course. Like she has mentioned, I got the chance to explore chemistry more closely. I learned theoretical and practical aspects of different domains of chemistry, supplemented with biology, physics, and mathematics as essentials for chemistry coursework. After that, you can write about where you did your masters. And of course, then after you've written about your masters, if you had any specialization, you can mention that what kind of specialization you got and why you took that particular specialization. And then you can talk about some unique you can say experience that you had which made you more inclined towards a particular field. For example, this is where you can talk about your own experiences. Like over here you can see one of my friends has mentioned, the first moment of realization about my future goals did not come through a seminar or a course lecture, but rather it stemmed from a failed organic chemistry experiment during the 4th semester of college. My lab group was instructed to carry out selective reduction of a dinitro derivative of benzene using sodium sulfide, but everyone in my group got unsatisfactory yields of the desired products, even after carefully adhering to the instructions in the instruction literature. The experiment was repeated thrice with varying reaction conditions, but still only a meager yield could be achieved. However, there was no relief in achieving some yield eventually. Rather, it brought along a lot of unanswered questions that intrigued me and strongly motivated me to look out for answers and address such shortcomings. So this is a really wonderful way to present your keenness or why you got interested in a particular field. So like my friend over here had applied to the synthetic organic chemistry, like he was applying for organic chemistry positions. So this is the example he gave, wherein his interest for organic chemistry was generated, that even after varying the reaction conditions, the yield could not be improved. Then you can talk about your master's project as well. If you had a research project or you worked on an internship, you can talk about it, what kind of skills you learned. For example, over here my friend has mentioned, as part of my MS thesis project, a thorough background review helped identify the lack of prediction methodologies to co-crystals with adequate sensitivity, specificity and accuracy. So basically he talks about the point wherein he did some literature review and he found that there are some gaps in knowledge, wherein he, as you can see, he's highlighting over here that it helped him identify the lack of prediction methodology. So basically he's saying this is the gap in knowledge that he could observe by going through the literature. And as I defended my thesis during the seminar presentation and addressed the reviewers' comments while publishing, so this particular friend of mine has also published one article. So he learned an essential skill to form and defend my work's conclusions. The project's limited duration, this is a very, very important point, and this is something that you should learn. This is an excellent point. Herein he mentions that the project's limited duration. So see, this is a negative point. He could not get a, you can say, a very he could not get a thorough output out of this project. So because like there were not many results to show out of this project, it was left in between. So rather than just not addressing that point at all, he has converted it into something which is favorable. Like for example, here he mentions the project's limited duration prevented its culmination into developing a commercially viable formulation platform for prepared co-crystals. This instigated a desire to pursue doctoral research to carry out an extensive project to develop reproducible, scalable and cost-effective formulation platforms. So here he mentions that due to the shortened duration of the project, he could not complete it, and that is the reason, or that is something that has instigated a desire in him to pursue the PhD program. So this is a wonderful way by which you can present your shortcomings. I have also worked as a senior subject matter expert in a company. So if you have worked in some, like I said, if you have done some kind of extracurricular activities, like you were involved in sports, which you feel would also help in your application, you can definitely mention that. For example, over here, my friend has mentioned, I have also worked as a senior subject matter expert in a company in Noida. And as a subject matter expert in a well-established e-learning MNC, I have been involved in handling of various tedious projects and have completed the tasks assigned to me on time. So herein she talks about that, first of all, she has been a senior subject matter expert. That means she has knowledge of the domain where she is working in. And secondly, she has also highlighted that she was able to handle a lot of tasks or projects and at the same time complete them on time. So that also highlights some very important attributes which supports her application. Now coming to the conclusion. So first of all, I'll talk about the conclusions wherein you're applying to a general PhD program. That means you're not applying to any specific particular professor, you're applying to a university. Okay, you're applying to an institute or you're applying to a university. So this is one way you can present the conclusion. The presence of the Department of Green Chemistry, which buttresses the initiative of a more sustainable approach to chemistry, along with facilitating innovative and environmentally sustainable research in the area of my interest, that is catalysis, makes me extremely positive and excited about applying to X university as the place to pursue my graduate education. Over here, don't get confused. Graduate education basically in American universities, when you say you are doing a graduate program, that means you're doing a higher level program like a master's or PhD. Okay, so that is what over here graduate means. In addition to this, the highly advanced Center for Analysis, which provides cutting edge resources and instrumentation, coupled with the presence of a vastly experienced and distinguished research faculty, sets up a conducive environment for productive and unparalleled research, a fact which further strengthens my decision of choosing this Carnegie X University, or whichever university you have to mention, to fulfill my academic and professional endeavors. Okay, so as you can see over here, this is one way in which you can conclude by saying that you are applying to this particular university because of the instrumentation facilities, the resources, and because of the distinguished research faculty that are present. Okay, so this is a generalized way. This is not a very specific way, so I would not recommend it, but this is also one way by which you can write if you want, if you're not sure with which kind of faculties you want to work. Generally, when you're concluding, you have to mention with what particular faculty members you want to work. For example, over here Professor X, Professor Y, and Professor Z have current research going on which aligns quite closely with my own research interest. So when you're writing your middle section or your body section, wherein you might have worked on a project which got you interested in a particular topic in chemistry, so you have to mention that these particular professors are working in the same area, so they have current research going on which aligns quite closely with my own research interest, a fact which majorly informs my decision of applying to X university. If accepted, I would like to work with one of these professors individually or with any collaboration they are part of. In summary, I am confident that I am prepared and have the background to succeed at graduate school, and this department is the right fit for me, my research interest, and the goals I want to fulfill. Finally, I sincerely thank the admissions committee for putting in the time and effort to review my application. So this is a very well formulated conclusion wherein you are mentioning that first of all, yes, you are interested in these particular professors, and that the university is going to provide you a very good research environment wherein you can pursue the research. Then there is another way. I'm allured by the research areas of Dr. X, Y, and Z, and I believe working with them and other distinguished faculties will help me achieve my long-term goal of being a resourceful academic researcher. As a researcher, I possess strong academic credentials and have backed it up with knowledge of crystal engineering, small molecule, and protein formulations, making me a strong candidate to undertake doctoral education at the X university. Right. So this was when you were directly applying to the university or the institute. Now, what if you have to, let's say, apply to the advisor? You are directly applying to a particular professor. So when you are applying to a particular professor, you can mention the X university seemed to be the place that could provide me the kind of research and environment that I'm looking for. I'm confident that working in the highly stimulating atmosphere of your campus, supported by your able academic guidance, will provide me the impetus to strive ceaselessly to attain my cherished goals and contribute to this research community. I thank you for the opportunity to express my views and hope that I satisfy the criteria for admission as well as possible teaching/research assistantship, expecting a favorable consideration and looking forward to being associated with you. So this is when you have to directly apply to the advisor. So you have to be a little more, you can say, direct, and you have to mention that some qualities of the advisor that you really admire, or the research area of the advisor with whom you have to work with. So these were some of the samples which might help you in writing a good statement of purpose or a motivation letter. So anyway, if you have any further queries, you can let me know in the comment section. I will try my best to answer those, and otherwise I guess there are other viewers as well who might be experienced who could answer your queries too. So anyway, I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please do not forget to like this video and share with your friends, because I am sure it would be really helpful for them as well. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I would kindly request you to do that as well. Just think of it as a way to support me. And yeah, that's about it. Let me know also if you want a video on a particular topic, on a particular research topic which you are having difficulty with. And in the end, I would just like to say thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video really soon.